recording is going. Children. But only sort of children, apparently. I like the way when I say I'm going to hit record and we'll fill for a minute, everybody immediately shuts up entirely except for whichever kid is talking to Dirk.
Oh, I'm sorry. I went into, okay, you've turned on the recording. Now we need some silence for the noise truncation. And I don't
That's
so,
all. That's
noise
my
removal and the
default
silence
setting.
truncation, whatever.
That's my default setting as
Wow.
well.
We've been doing it that way for, I guess, like 10 years, and now in the last 2 I haven't done that, but I've trained them so well.
You have,
Yeah.
because that is my Mike is right there with me. Literally, my first instinct is shut up, Brian. We're gonna start the recording now. So we don't do change. Come on.
Yeah, we're not live streaming the show. We've never live streamed the show. That would be dumb.
I think if I was fully on my game today, I would have been more with you on that one. But
I probably would not have. Too much conditioned training.
Lord. Let me ring my bell and make them all drool.
This is me filling time.
Oh, like have you not heard Dirk yet? Dirk, say something. I think Dirk walked away.
Yeah.
I think that.
I'm sorry, I had it muted because my daughter's doing school-related stuff.
Like loudly?
Can you hear her?
I can hear.
We thought we could earlier.
I can hear it now.
Oh, okay.
Penny, say something.
Okay. Then. Some of that comes through, but not much. Okay, well, let's get to it then, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, now give me like a second or two of silence. Ow, jam! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is episode 566 of the Mana Pool because we've been doing this for way too long.
Correct.
Or just long enough. Oh.
What
Maybe
he
a
said.
little too long.
Anyway, I'm Chewy, the lead dork, and I got these other dorks here. Hi, dorks.
Hey, I'm Brian. I'm the lead rambler tangent master of the group. Get ready to hear lots of talking because it's preview time. And I'm going to hand it off to Mike, who may or may not be too good to be true.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and the game lore guy. And I'm dealing with my usual change of seasons, pain in the neck, head cold. And I'm going to hand it off to Dirk, who, oh man, I'm blanking on any worthwhile what he said. Dang it, freaking crap.
Just tell him you can't keep your eyes off of him.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive, his moral compass of the group. Here with Penny, if you hear any sort of young female giggling and everything in the background, it's her playing ABC Mouse on Trevor's iPad. And I'm going to hand it off to Chewy, who is too cool for school, because I'm there.
This is true. Yeah, I am too cool for school, whereas Dirk is just cool enough for school.
I was trying to do the song thing that we don't have the license rights
Yes,
thank you. From the thing, and nobody else. So
I was following you, but I went first. So
yeah.
I got what you were doing, but I was gonna flip to another song, but I'm just not with it today, man.
I got you. That's all right. We got your back.
Poor Mike. Mike.
Yes.
No dying.
All right. Gotcha.
First rule. Son of a. Okay, so in case you can't tell from Brian's slightly more excited than usual, we are in the beginnings of preview season for Throne of Eldraine. And unlike normal preview seasons where we complain because it's never-ending preview season, this one's fine because we had several weeks of not previews.
Yes.
Finally. And this is totally new and different. So, yay! It's not like it's Modern Horizons, whatever, which was still new and different, but I didn't really care. And look, it already got a card banned in freaking Modern. Good job, designers.
What was the name of that card? There we go.
Sorry.
No. That's exactly what I was going for.
Yeah, but I had too much gusto.
You got carried away with it.
Instead of faking the sound in my throat, it actually attacked my throat. So, we are gonna talk about some stuff.
Yeah, we are.
Man, that throat thing there. Right, so Throne of Eldraine, as we talked about before, is very much hang on, Mike, have you infected me? Because that just completely the thought starting to come out, and then it just.
It's quite possible.
All right, let's just get into it. The mechanics article is up. Oh, I didn't fix any of this. No, this one. There we go. The mechanics article is up, of course. So, and if you haven't watched the trailer, I can't play the trailer because I want this to go up on YouTube, and I don't want it to get muted here on Twitch. So, I guess I don't care if it gets muted on Twitch because I delete the VODs for the podcast anyway. But, yeah, you should watch the trailer. It's only just under 4 minutes long, and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
The way that the War of the Spark trailer was brilliant, but instead of being like jerk at your heartstrings and make you tear up, it's instead make you snicker and then laugh and then sad and then yeah, in that order.
Yeah. It's actually pretty good.
So yeah, Pinball Witch just said it's on par with some of the great Hearthstone trailers, and it is. Yeah, it's got a licensed song, which is I don't actually know the name of that song. Is it Can't Take My Eyes Off of You? I don't think it is.
I think it is.
I don't know the name, but yeah, go watch it. You get to see the nice gingerbread people here and witness some heartbreak and tragedy, and you get to see Garrick. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Garrick is back. He's going to be the first card we talk about once we get past the mechanics, because as always, we start with the mechanics.
Yeah. So this was previewed on Wednesday during a live stream, and I told Chewy this actually. I happened to be home from work for lunch. I didn't even know this was going on, and an article I was reading that previewed another card that I had come across was like, oh, and they're doing an announcement on Wednesday on Twitch. I'm like, okay, cool. I looked, it was just a little afternoon. I'm like, I wonder if it's going on. And I happened to tune in just in time to catch it. And if anyone else was watching, I guess it was supposed to start at 12:30, but I don't know if maybe some people thought it started at noon. So while you're waiting, it's not just like an advertisement. It's a video of somebody making gingerbread men. Like, they're literally rolling out the dough to soft music playing in the background. And there were so many comments, especially early on, of people being like, what am I watching? Am I in the right place? What's going on? But there was a little egg timer in the bottom, like ticking up to 12:30 or ticking down, I guess. And every now and then they'd be like, some text would show up on the screen and be like, yeah, is this kind of weird? Well, here's a preview, and it'll throw a card up for like 5 seconds. And people are like, wait, what? And then it goes back to the person making it. That person was using way too much flour, like to the point that people in the comments were like, more flour. So it was hilarious. But then they actually got to the meat of the stream, which had the world premiere of the trailer. And the minute that Garrick showed up, people were like losing their minds. You'd think it was like, you're at your local hole in the wall, and all of a sudden, like, Aerosmith shows up, and people are like, wah! So, Garrick.
Well, you can tell Brian is old, because Aerosmith is the big band that came to mind.
Is Aerosmith not an awesome band?
Anymore?
if they showed up at your like, just regular like, hey, I'm here to watch the guy from down the street, and they're like, oh, by the way, Aerosmith, you'd probably be a little like, yeah. So that's kind of what it was like.
Okay then, Brian.
And
Brian
yes,
is old, everyone.
I am.
We'll just go with that.
Oh, and Mark Rosewater was entirely too animated, just like he is every time. But wow,
Yeah,
he was into it. I mean, that's good. So
yeah. Okay then, so we're gonna actually talk about stuff now. So
yes, let's do it.
first up we have adventures. Now this is the weird storybook thing that we saw before.
Right.
And adventures are on creatures.
Yes.
Yeah. So these creatures, like the Beanstalk Giant, have an adventure they can go on. So you'll notice the Beanstalk Giant here has a name and a power, a casting cost, and a power and toughness, and some text. And then all of this over here is an entirely separate thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the bottom left. This is the adventure portion of the card.
It's kind of, sort of like split cards, but not really.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, when you go to cast it from your hand, I assume. It doesn't say.
Yeah.
I mean,
It just says
if
as
you
you're
had an ability
casting
that allowed you to, yeah. When you cast it, so like whether from your hand or if you had an ability that let you cast it from the graveyard, then you could choose it. If it's something like a simple reanimation spell, like put a creature card from the graveyard to the battlefield, you're not going to be able to do the adventure. But whenever you could cast the card.
Yeah, so.
And I get because of the way this works, I get the feeling it probably is just from hand. So you can't just keep doing the adventure forever. We'll get into the rest of that later.
Go ahead,
Right.
Chuck.
And yeah, it says it only specifies you can cast a creature. So down here in the rules text. But anyway, you can cast the adventure. Like for instance, the Beanstalk Giant. Is a 6 and a green uncommon giant whose power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the adventure that the Beanstalk Giant can go on is Fertile Footsteps. For 2 and a green, it's an adventure sorcery. Because adventure is a subtype. No. A type. No, subtype. Yeah, I was right.
It's a subtype.
Yeah.
And the Fertile Footsteps adventure, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So, when you cast the adventure, the Beanstalk Giant goes into exile. Because it's on an adventure.
Yeah.
Nice and simple.
Yep.
And your Beanstalk Giant goes off on an adventure. Now, one of the great things about going on an adventure, as we learned from the Hobbit movies. Okay, no, not the movies. Jesus, no, not the movie. The Hobbit story, is that you have to come back from the adventure in order for it to be a successful adventure. So, if an exiled card you own is on an adventure, you can cast the creature. Yeah, and the rules text even says, or the reminder text even says, then exile this card. You may cast the creature later from exile. So yeah, you can't just keep adventuring.
Right.
Right.
Now, if the creature is exiled normally, like due to an Oblivion Ring effect, you cannot cast it from exile later. You can only cast it if it is exiled due to the adventure.
Correct.
Yeah, presumably. That's not like detailed here, so I probably shouldn't have made my speculative comments earlier either, but it probably doesn't work that way.
No, they said it doesn't work that way.
Oh, they said it.
Otherwise, literally every creature with adventure in the set would be like also has the you may cast this from exile, which makes a whole lot of other cards kind of silly, like cards that have specifically done that before. So
Yeah. So, important to note, when it's on the battlefield, you ignore the adventure entirely. When it's in your hand or graveyard or library or exile, it's still just a creature.
right. If you tutor for a creature, you can get this. If you tutor for a sorcery, you
cannot.
can't.
Correct.
Also important to remember, because I feel like this is gonna happen. If you cast this for the creature just the first time, because you never have to cast the adventure,
Correct.
You don't get to later go back and do the adventure.
Right.
Yeah.
Not without bouncing it or finding another copy.
You got it.
Yep.
I just have a feeling that that's gonna come up. So, yeah,
it's a little weird.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where as soon as we get used to it, it's just gonna come like that. But I had to read this a couple times to understand, just to make sure. I love the fact that on this guy and on one or two of the other ones that I've seen so far, the adventure ties in really well with what the creature wants to do. Obviously, here you want to ramp so that your guy, when you get him, is bigger. Also, it helps you get the lands you need to actually cast this 7-drop. So, yeah. It's really solid design.
Whoops.
And the flavor, of course, is just super awesome on point.
So the giant has to be on the battlefield for you to cast the adventure. It goes.
Nope.
Oh, you cast one or the other.
There you go.
Yeah, you choose it when you're casting it. Yeah,
Right.
not when it's already on the battlefield.
If
adventure or creature.
If you cast the adventure, then as it resolves, this card goes into exile, and as long as it stays there, later you can actually cast the creature.
Gotcha.
If you just go ahead and cast the creature, either at that point or you say you top deck this guy later in the game, I just want a big guy, you cannot go back later and cast the adventure unless he's somehow back in your hand. Mm-hmm. When he's on the battlefield, he's just an XX. You got it. See, and this is why we're taking the time to explain this, because what
that was
Dark
the
is
part
thinking,
I'm just double checking on, because that's
absolutely
because as I'm going through, I was like, he can't go on an adventure if he's not there.
Pinball Witch asks a very interesting question. If you cast the adventure, is the convert mana cost the creatures or the adventures? So
when it's on the stack, it's going to be the adventure.
It's going to be
the adventure. It would have to be the adventure. So it would make sense for it to have
every adventure,
any of the creature characteristics.
Every adventure actually has a unique name. Like, for instance, Fertile Footsteps. So you don't say, I'm casting Beanstalk Giant for its adventure. You're actually casting a spell called Fertile Footsteps, which is how this is similar, different from, but similar to a split card, like Fire and Ice.
Yeah, and seeing that they had unique names made me kind of surprised when I read the part about none of the adventure characteristics exist while it's not being cast as such. But it's a nice little flavor zing.
Yeah, and
that does seem to be a reoccurring theme in Wizards stuff, is that you have a card that you can choose what the outcome of the card is. Mm-hmm. Like the dragons and cons choices. Mm-hmm. This is just another one. Brian mentioned the split cards.
Yeah.
I think this is probably the best way of trying to do some kind of split creature card. Just to say that the part that's not a creature, it just doesn't exist except when you're doing the special thing.
Right. I love cards like this that give you options, and you might say, well, duh, you always want to cast the sorcery first, and there will be a lot of times that is the correct move. But much like with Kavu Titan, sometimes you just want a 2/2, and again later in the game, when you have the mana for one but not to do both, you're going to be like, give me Mr. Fatty, So there will be times where it's good for both. You may cast Fertile Footsteps early in the game and either never have the mana or just never have the opportunity to cast Beanstalk Giant later, and it's still done its purpose. Still, you've still gotten value out of the card. So,
And that's the thing I kind of like about this is that you technically can get 2 things out of this card.
Yeah.
Or you can just be like, no, I just need the big fatty right now.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, the venture, for at least for this specific card, is one where early game it gets a function, and then it essentially just sits somewhere not in your hand, so that you can say, until you get the mana, hey, now I've got this extra card that's sort of sit that.
We got a lot more stuff to talk about, but I do want to say I feel like this is the perfect card to represent this ability because it's so clean, and you get okay, here's the early game function. Here's the late game function, and nothing about the giant is like so super technical that you're like, I don't understand how this works. So if you get this, you get how adventure works.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there are more mechanics.
Okay, well, before we move away, Jay Spencer a while back said it's sort of like Bestow, where Bestow makes no damn sense until you play with it, and you're like, oh, well, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's obvious.
Yeah, and I think that's how.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yeah.
Yeah. And JD Phoenix just dropped in the chat where Eli Schifrin answered a bunch of questions on Reddit about adventures. So anyone in the chat, feel free to check that out. I'm gonna copy that. I'll just put it here so I can find it later and add that to the show notes. Thank you. And apparently Fertile Footsteps is still a real card name.
Really?
So it could, that's assuming that JD Phoenix got that from the AMA there, or the Reddit thing. Let's just click on the damn thing.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. Reddit takes too long to dig through to find specific things. So, yeah.
I guess I just have an overly narrow idea of what it means to have a card name.
Well, they probably had to add that rule for these cards specifically, so you don't know that yet.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll need to see the details.
Yep. But okay. But not nitpicking corner cases and crap. It's very simple. You either cast the creature or you cast the adventure. And if you cast the adventure, it goes into exile. And if it's in exile because it's on an adventure, later you can cast the creature whenever you want. When it would be legal to cast.
There you go.
Nice and simple, easy peasy, giant squeezy.
All right.
All right, so let's go to Adamant.
Yes, I am adamant that we keep moving.
This one is much less intense. It's just an ability word.
Yeah.
That means, well, okay, adamant means that if you cast it using at least 3 mana of whatever its color is, then it does an extra thing.
Right. That, plain and simple.
Yeah, because there are 5 courts on Eldraine, and each court is it's a different take on, like, what's the thing where with the gods from Theros? What was that?
Devotion.
Yeah, it's a different take on devotion. Instead of having it there, you have to put it into the spell.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I feel like
I thought you were going to talk about the circles and squares and triangles and clovers and rainbows and whatever.
Blue moons.
Now I haven't looked at the art enough to know if that stuff we noticed on that episode where we previewed the art is actually accurate or not. I figured we just do that on the show.
It wouldn't surprise me if it would, but it doesn't change the way the card works. So, for example, here we've got a preview card that's a great example of this: the Embereth Paladin. For 3 in a red, it is a 4/1 with haste. A human knight. That is it's a common. So barring everything else, it's a 4/1 with haste for 4. However, it has adamant. If at least 3 red mana was spent to cast the spell, because it is red, therefore red's the color we're looking at. If you use at least 3 red mana to cast it, it comes onto the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. So little bonus there. And obviously that's specific to this card. Another card with adamant may have a very different effect. Easy, you got it. I don't think this will show up on multicolored cards because I don't know how that would work. But also, it will not show up on anything that costs less than 3, I hope, because that's just kind of mean. I don't know. Do we have like a 1/1 for 2 that with adamant that if you somehow manage to increase this card's cost, it comes in as a 10/10 because jolly good? Or might just be a little too out there. We do have another example.
2 more. Yeah.
2 more. All right.
Hey, Dirk. You awake? You're muted.
Yeah, we're having a family discussion.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
All right. Mike, you like white cards.
Yeah. All right. So, Silver Flame Ritual. This is the circle of knights with the giant swords.
Yep.
For 3 and a white, it's a common sorcery. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. And the adamant ability here, if at least 3 white mana was spent to cast this spell, creatures you control gain vigilance until end of turn.
Nice little, very white feeling pump effect.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't there an addendum spell in one of the recent Ravnica sets that used these 2 things paired together?
Either that or something very close to that. There was one that I think was +1/+1 counter and maybe indestructible until end of turn, but I think it was a rare card.
Maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah. So instead of a kicker, where you have to get more mana to make an extra effect, it's just more focus on a single color to get an extra effect. Nice and simple.
Yeah. There you go.
And the final card here is Slaying Fire. For 2 and a red, it's an instant that's uncommon. It deals 3 damage to any target. But if at least 3 red mana was spent to cast it, it deals 4 damage instead. Ha 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 ha!
Which 4 mana for 4 red, 3 red mana for 4 damage seems like to any target feels pretty good. But it doesn't, because of the way this works. This is so splashable because 3 mana is still 3 damage is still really good. So I love that the adventure feel for like it's always going to be good, and when's the right time to do it? Do you hold out for that third mana, that third mountain? Sorry, or are you just good to be like just lightning bolt that, keep moving? This feels like it could be pretty good. I wonder if this is going to be one of these like format-defining burn spells. You know how there at any given time there's one that kind of sets the standard, pun intended. So I wonder if this might be it.
Yeah, this makes me think of that. What was it called? Flame Lance? That
the hybrid one?
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me of that as well. The one that was 3 red mana / 2 generic for each red mana thing.
No. I think it was Flame Javelin, right?
Flame Javelin.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what Chad is talking about right now.
Okay. Yeah.
So there you go. And then the final mechanic?
Question mark.
Yeah, they threw it down here because it's a new thing that's all over the place. It's
Can I just call it a gimmick? I mean, I don't mean any disrespect, but
it's the gimmick token.
Yeah.
Like we had the clue token, we had treasure. Is that it?
I get where you're going with treasure.
There was something in Kaladesh block.
Servos, but
that was something else. Oh well.
But I feel like the most direct comparison to this is clues, because they are both artifacts tokens that you only get through this, and they both have 2 and tap and sack for an effect. So, yeah. So a food token, regardless, they have ones with different art, but they all work the same, is literally an artifact token, sits there on the battlefield, and you pay 2 and tap it, and sacrifice that artifact to gain 3 life. So let the debate rage between, is this better than clues? Are clues better than food? Tell clues I love them, and his bow ties are certainly better than pies. But I think most of the time people will probably say drawing a card is stronger than gaining 3 life. But in limited, I could see if you get enough of these, and if you find a way to make a couple, I mean, the 3 life may start to add up. So
Also, the card we have for an example here is called Bake into a Pie, which is just the best removal spell I've ever seen.
Yeah. And we said this looks like a removal spell when we saw the art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for 2 black, it's a common instant, destroy target creature, which is really good for 4 freaking mana at instant speed at common.
Yeah.
Create a food token. Boom.
Yeah.
But it's not just a food token in that you can sack it to gain 3 life. There are cards in the set that you can do things with food tokens.
Right.
Yeah. And we will see at least one if we get around to it in the image guide today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but I like these food tokens a little too much. Like, some of them I'm like, nom. Do not play this set when you're hungry.
Yeah, this food is kind of awesome and kind of sinister at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it strikes that balance really well. Although I think that one with the croissant on the bottom, I don't know what wouldn't be appetizing about that.
There's
Except
a wolf paw right
well,
next to it, because I think this is the basket Little Red Riding Hood was carrying.
Well, just tell the wolf to go away and, like, let me at those pies.
Yeah. And the one to the left of it, it has a golden apple, and it has 2 halves of a pomegranate.
Mm-hmm.
Those are references to Greco-Roman myths. I don't know if the other fruit in that one are references to something.
The curly bananas are freaking me out, though. Could they not?
Hey, man. And I don't know, that pie in the first one looks pretty good. I wish it wasn't, like, screaming at me.
I was going to say, it looks like
It looks like Oogie Boogie.
It does look like Oogie Boogie.
Yeah.
Is
well,
Dirk far away?
It says Dirk from across the room.
Okay. And
It's because my head thing was different. Never mind.
oh, okay. And then look at the background of the boar's head. This feast is laid out just in the woods with these things in the background looking in at it.
Yeah.
What the hell?
They remind me of the changelings.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. But before we get too far, Chewy, you should read the flavor text for Bake into a Pie.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that. My secret ingredient? Well, I can't tell you that, but here's a hint. It's not love. That's awesome. Oh, did we have good flavor text up here? The purest virtue burns brighter than the sun and hotter than dragonfire. False. Dragonfire is hotter than all of that. Silver Flame Ritual, tempered by fire and united in virtue. The Knights of... Zoom in. Ardenvale. Fight with a single unbreakable will. Okay. The king would die for the realm. I would not hesitate to do the same for him. That's the Embreth Paladin. And nothing on the giant. Okay.
Makes sense. Those are all like the devotion ones, the adamant. So they're all going to be like super serious.
Yeah, for king and country and all that nonsense.
King and country. Bar.
Yay.
Yay.
All right. So let's go talk about some cards, shall we? We got to the
Let's
food.
do it.
And we've already covered the best removal spell that's ever been printed, so... That's like the best discard spell that was ever printed, was the one where someone hit someone in the head with a fish tied to a brick.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't remember the name of it. I can see the art still to this day in my head.
So I'll mention this a little bit during my final thought, but after the stream was over, they're like, oh, by the way, you can start playing Brawl on Arena, like, literally now. And I'm like, what? I don't have to go back to the office just yet. So I went upstairs, turned on the computer, had to wait for Arena to update, and then I started playing. And I'll get more into my experience later, but Bake Into a Pie was in my deck, and it really is awesome. I mean, aside from all jokes and everything, even 4 mana for this seems fine. The fact that it's instant speed is just. I realized there's only one copy of my deck because it was a Brawl, but it felt like it came up a lot, and I was always like, yes. So I baked many things into pies. Not always the food, but I baked many things into pie.
Chat has just informed us that great discard spell was called Noggin Whack.
That's right.
That sounds about right. Is that from Lorwyn? Sounds like it's from Lorwyn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Garrick.
Right. Yeah.
We
People
gotta do
losing
Garrick.
their minds. Garrick's back.
Yeah, the rest of the set literally doesn't matter other than Bake Into a Pie, and Garrick is back. Or, if Chase was here, we would all be saying Garuk just to make her turn red. But Garrick, Cursed Huntsman. Oh my god, this makes me so happy. For 4 a black and a green, he starts with 5 loyalty. His 0 ability is create 2/2 black and green wolf creature tokens with, when this creature dies, put a loyalty counter on each Garrick you control. I missed the word each there.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's real good.
Huh. So, that's how he gains loyalty, is he makes wolves and then they die and he gains loyalty. That makes no sense flavorfully, but it's not supposed to, so shut up.
He's still cursed, so
Exactly.
Yeah, hand wavy. It's
almost
unique. I love that you get it. You get how it makes sense, but it's not something we've seen a million times before. So yeah.
Yeah. He could almost be the huntsman that instead of, killing the big bad wolf, he just recruited him. Come on, you're going with me.
Yeah.
His -3. Destroy target creature. Draw a card. Welp, I'm sold.
I mean, yeah. What else do you want a card to do?
And then his -6, you get an emblem with creatures you control get +3, +3. Blah, blah, one more time. Creatures you control get +3, +3, and have trample.
That is just dumb.
It's just an emblem that he just has.
It's just dumb.
Yeah.
I realize the fact you have to actually do a little bit of work to get there just on his own with no more support. You've got to get him out, make some wolves. They have to kill the wolves, and they have to help you get there. But he starts at 5. -6, you get an emblem that all of your creatures are under overrun forever. Is that not just dumb?
What the heck? That's 6? I did not see that the first time.
Yeah, that's -6, dude.
And do the emblems stack? Or
Yeah.
are they just...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if there was a rule thing that said no. Once you get an emblem, you can keep getting it, but it only stays with the one static ability.
So
yeah.
So look, I get that on his own, you got to do a little bit of work, but this is going to come out in an environment with proliferate.
Yep.
You're
Garrick's
going
gonna be
to-
sick.
You're going to be able to drop this guy, attack with your white 1/1 flyer that when it attacks you proliferate, and literally after combat get an emblem.
I honestly, he's gonna be. He's like, I don't know. I'm not gonna predict he's gonna be as powerful as Jace, but
Well, no,
He's-
obviously not.
but he's the fact that you get, he drops, you get two wolves. If you're not making wolves every turn, you're not playing this right.
Well,
And the thing
there's
is
going to
that-
be at least one turn where you're not making a wolf with him if you're getting to that limit break.
Yeah, but
I mean, kill a creature, draw a card is also really nice.
I mean,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
This is the real deal.
there are no bad things to do
Oh, no.
here. There are no bad things. This is literally only bad when you're you draw him and you are going to lose anyway, and the wolves won't save you. In which case, what was going to save you?
Well, the thing with him is that we've had planeswalkers that are defensive, and they may have one ability that says, okay, you know, I've got a thing that I can throw in the way to protect me. Garrick he's creating creatures, and you know, without the other two abilities, he's creating creatures every turn, and if he's not attacking, he's getting bigger. You know, when you guys are you know, joking about, you know, the snake deck, you're like, oh my gosh, there's all these snakes. Well, Garrick is making 2 wolves every turn if you're just not doing the other things. And so if you leave him just a couple of turns, you've suddenly got a lot of creatures, and you can go on the offensive. And as soon as they die, you can now give them +3/+3 and trample. And now they're even bigger. And they're going to get out of hand really, really quickly.
This
and
just
to
feels
throw
terrifying.
into the, oh, you've got a big thing that's going to, you know, oh, you got a big thing that will, you know, I really don't want to come after me. Well, it's dead.
Yeah,
Hard.
Yeah, he's sweet. I don't know
Just
what
gonna
else
keep
you want from Planeswalker.
I really feel like that he him and he will run that deck. If he could be a commander, he would be an amazing commander.
Brawl, man, I'm telling you, Brawl. That's one of the features of the format. Is you like a Planeswalker? Guess what? He can be your commander. So yeah,
He's not going to be the best Planeswalker, but play Planeswalkers where they're defensive. Garrick, Cursed Huntsman, can be an aggressive Planeswalker that, you know, he's the one who says, okay, I need a hammer. Play Garrick. All right, now I just got to, you know, start making some, you know, make my little hammers, and then they'll turn into a sledgehammer in a minute.
well, and I actually like how this. Okay, this is gonna be the weirdest thing I've said in a while, which is saying something. But this allows you to play Garrick Tribal. Because yeah. Remember how awesome OG Garrick was?
OG Garrick was the best of the original 5.
Yeah, they all had their day in the
most
sun
raw
at
power.
one point, but except for Chandra.
Chandra.
The original Chandra.
Yeah.
Original Chandra never had her time when she was the good one.
Oh no, she never did.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, OG Garrick was at most times just the best. So they get along really well together. So, but we do have another Planeswalker to talk about.
Yeah,
this
but
guy,
he's not Garrick, so...
He's not Garrick, but he's still green. Hey, Dirk, have you seen this Simic Planeswalker?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well.
All right, so we've got Oko, Thief of Crowns. For 1 green-blue, he's a Planeswalker who has a loyalty of 4. His +2 ability, create a food token.
Yay! By the way,
I literally saw this before I knew what making food was.
No one knew what it was.
Right. And so I was like, is the whole point of this literally to make a token that's nothing that you use one of the other abilities on? And now at least I know, well, there's other things you can use food. So.
But I would like, just as a life lesson, never accept food from fairies.
No.
Ever. Okay.
You're going to fall asleep for 70 years, at least.
Or turn into a jackass, or...
Yeah,
if you're already a jackass,
optimistic end. Yeah.
But okay, keep going.
All right. His second ability, which is a +1, target artifact or creature loses all abilities and becomes a green elk creature with base power and toughness 3/3.
What does this not say?
Until end of turn.
You are correct, sir. So, here's a food. Okay, now it's a 3/3.
I turned this apple into an elk. Get him!
Yeah. Let's not forget that this guy costs 3. Okay, I don't want to forget that. Keep going, Dirk.
So, and then we have the final ability, which is a -5. So it says exchange control of target artifact or creature you control and target creature an opponent controls with power 3 or less.
Yeah. I think if this was a strict just switcheroo, it would be on a planeswalker, it would be dumb. Because you'd be like, they would always have the threat of being like, hey, you played something amazing, have a food, or
Mm-hmm.
a nothing, a servo token. So yeah, is he Garrick? No, but he literally costs half of a Garrick. And you can play him on turn 3 and put him at 6 loyalty. That, I mean, that's gonna be hard for them to get rid of super quickly. And then you can start, turning things into 3/3s, which, for yours, you're theoretically taking things that aren't 3/3s and making them 3/3s. For their opponents, oh, nice 12/12 you got there. Yeah, it's a 3/3 with no abilities. Forever.
Or, nice 12/12 you got there. I'm going to give you this apple, and I'm going to take it.
Yes.
Thank you.
But
no, you would have to turn it into an elk first.
Yeah,
you can only trade. You can only trade for small creatures.
Then you have to hit it with 2 copies of Shrink.
There you go.
And then
he is Trixie. So this guy is new.
Yeah, just slap a chant of the skiff sang on there, whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah, whatever that one's called. Yeah.
So this guy is new, and the way that he's described in the story, I have not read the book yet. I think the book is out if you want to purchase it. But how he's described is he is a fae, and he was born with the ability to shapeshift. And the way the fae structure is on this plane right now is they have been actively trying to tone down the mischievous nature of the fae. I guess they want to be more respectable and all that. And he felt like he was being tied down. He felt like he was not able to be true to his nature, to the point that I guess he felt like he was being outlawed. The very nature of his ability and of his being was being outlawed. And it sounds like he might have been imprisoned or something along those lines, and that's when his spark ignited. And now he lives his entire life trying to bring the mighty down and basically give everybody a big pie in the face. What I'm really hoping is that he doesn't turn into just another Xenagos. Oh, I worshipped the gods, and then I became a planeswalker and discovered new things, and now I'm just here to screw up everybody's life. Or put myself into a godlike position. It doesn't seem like he's here to usurp anybody. It seems he's more to like just mess with you. But I just hope he doesn't get too close to the whole been there, done that with Xenagos. Especially with we'll get back to that. But so that's Oko. And he seems pretty okay to me.
So
hey, real quick, Madcap Miriam just subbed for the 5th month. By the way, everyone, it is September here on Twitch, so the tier 1 subs are half price for you, but as far as streamers are concerned, they are still the same. So even though you sub at half price, we still get the full amount for it on our end. So if you've ever been thinking, you know what, I really want to use that bad at this game emoji, well, now's the month to go ahead and hop on for half off. Okay, keep going. Sorry, Derek, what you were about to say?
So what's the significance of the limit break? Just that you can exchange random things that you have, like if you've got just something random, you can just be like, here, take my crap and let me have your creature.
Exactly.
Is that essentially it?
Well, yeah, you're exchanging. Yeah. Did you read what it did?
Well, yeah,
That's what it does.
So I wasn't sure if there was something more into it that I wasn't reading or anything. If make an elf, like if you could somehow make like an elf I guess the food tokens.
Yeah.
You can just exchange. Here's some food. I'm gonna take your creature.
Yep, as long as the creature is small enough.
So well, and
also
again, the second
take...
ability allows you to make it something that you can switch out. So it was one of those things like, okay, I feel like I've missed something significant here. So I was making sure I hadn't.
Yeah, this is just these are just like nice abilities rather than screw you, I win the game abilities.
Okay.
Yeah.
That answers my question more than anything. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, it's only a limit break in that it's the last ability, not that it's a limit break-ish thing. Yeah. All right, then. Let's talk about something else, because there's all kinds of stuff. There's like 70 cards here to talk about.
Yeah, like literally. So, do we want to hit other mythics?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
Starting at the top.
Okay, I'll start at the bottom and scroll up.
So here's one I have not seen. So I'm gonna start talking about it, and hopefully I won't butcher it like I do sometimes. The Circle of Loyalty. Is this one with an alternate? That's
yes.
Okay.
Yes,
a variant. So the Circle of Loyalty for 4 and 2 white. It is a mythic legendary artifact. Oh, okay, I thought this would be an enchantment. Again, reading it for the first time. Try not to mess it up. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each knight you control. Okay, makes sense. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. And pay, that's 3 and a white, and tap to create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance, not to be confused with actual white knight. Yeah, that seems pretty cool. So it's a what's the word I'm looking for? Not a crusade, but a
kind of a powerful mobilization.
Well, it's a glorious anthem that gets cheaper as you play Knight Tribal and makes you knights either for free on top of legendary creatures, because hey, you're playing legendary creatures, knights follow them and their banners and all that. Or if you don't have anything else to do, you're just like, boop, here's a knight. It's legendary, so you can't get stacks of these, but I think I'm probably okay with that. And I do like
it does enough.
And I like the fact that while it obviously pushes you toward Knight Tribal, it's not just giving the bonus to knights. So, which is good, because you're also wanting to play legendary creatures, and maybe you don't have all legendary knights, so everything's getting the bonus. I like it.
And since it is legendary, if you draw a second copy, you can just cast it probably for cheap and trigger the one that's already on the battlefield and just get a knight token. So
it is a legendary spell. It doesn't say legendary creature does it. Ooh. Good point, Mike. Be sure to tap the first one to get a knight if you can. And then play this and get an untapped version. That's a lot of, but I like it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
What do we got next?
I have not. The next one that I saw was Rankle. I think that's the only other one we've got.
Okay, what color is that?
Black.
Of course. Oh yeah, this guy was one of the random ones that popped up during the cooking lesson, and it was only on for like 5 seconds. And there's a lot of stuff on the card, so I was like, wait, what? That was before I figured out how to stop the chat, or stop the stream, pause the stream, whatever. So who's Rankle?
Rankle is the master of pranks. For 2 and 2 black, Rankle is a legendary fairy rogue, a 3/3 with flying and haste. That's pretty good right there.
Yeah.
And whenever Rankle, master of pranks, deals combat damage to a player, choose any number. And there's 3 different things to choose from. Each player discards a card. Each player loses 1 life and draws a card. Each player sacrifices a creature.
Okay, I know that in a duel, this is going to be pretty awesome. It's a 3/3 with flying and haste that you always choose what you want to do. And once he's down, you probably are going to pick the each player discards a card because what else do you have in your hand that really matters? And if you're hitting them with what is essentially a specter every turn, that's pretty sweet. But I can't help but think that in multiplayer, how awesome is this? Where you're like, play this guy, and you're like, all right, who wants to take 3 so we can all draw a card? This seems pretty awesome. And then maybe you make some people sacrifice creatures and da-da-da-da. But, I mean, like, Mike, I'm swinging at you with Rankle. I promise everybody's going to get to draw a card. Are you taking 3?
Well, if you promise, yeah.
Yeah, because I know how much you love drawing cards.
So when it says choose any number, you can choose 1, 2, or all 3 of them?
Yeah.
Correct. Or
Yeah,
none.
any combination of them.
Yeah. If
You would
you
execute the instructions in order. So if you picked the first 2, everyone would discard a card first and then lose a life and draw a card.
Right.
Okay.
So if for some reason maybe you don't want to drop whatever you have in hand or whatever, if you want to hit them and just be done with it, you don't have to pick any. You can pick 0. But I mean, this is not broken. All these effects are symmetrical, but this feels awfully Value Town to me because it's a 3/3 with flying and haste. You want to talk about options? This feels really good.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, not exactly a controversial statement, but
I can see why he's
good card is good.
So, there's a second card image gallery for the variants. So here you see the, I can't remember what these are called because there were 3 new, flavors of things.
Yeah.
But here's the fancy extended art Circle of Loyalty. Here's the extended art Rankle. We have here's
fancy beanstalk giant.
Yeah, here's Garrick and Oko being all hot.
Hey.
Yeah, like Oko's way hotter in this art, I gotta say, and Garrick is way more in this art. What was that? An anonymous cheerer just threw 300 bits. Hey, thank you. An anonymous, is that their actual name or is that some sort of? I'm so confused.
They have a special badge.
They have a badge that says anonymous cheerer. That's freaking sweet. Thank you. I don't know what, but I appreciate it. I'm just confused. Thank you. Yay. A ghost just threw bits at my face. How appropriate given what we're talking about here. Does that mean, wait, if that's a fairy, that means I shouldn't accept it, right?
Particularly if it's food.
Oh no, it's food. Yeah, okay. And look, an anonymous cheer threw 7 bits. Whoa. Thank you. I'm still confused, but I like it. And look, there are even little ghosty emojis to go with it. Is this a new thing that Twitch is doing?
That's fascinating.
It is. Do these bits, do I actually like get these, or are they like leprechaun gold? Do they go away in a few hours when I'm not looking? Anyway, I forgot what we were talking about. I said Garrick was and then ghost bits happened, and now I'm scared.
Well, we were looking at variants.
We run through.
Here's the Beanstalk Giant and the sweet storybook.
Yeah.
Nonsense. I love the art on this Beanstalk Giant compared to the first one. But I have to say, I think that the storybook, the adventure frame is just too busy.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
It's got a lot going on. I don't mind it, but I like how it's different for every color.
Oh, it is?
Not really.
Scroll.
It's just shaded
not?
different.
Okay.
Oh, it's just different color.
It's
Yeah,
different
the
color.
same
That
thing.
to me, I was like, oh look, it's totally different. But I guess that's just my mind being. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then an anonymous cheerer threw 10 more. Oh, Pinball Witch said that was me to test it out. Oh. Well, thank you, Witch. Ghost bits.
so-
Okay, real quick, you guys.
Yeah.
Was it last night? It was last night. I was streaming some of the Dalaran heist, the previous
Yeah.
adventure in Hearthstone. because the new one's coming out soon, and I wanted to be done with the first one finally.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting here. I just started the stream, and all of a sudden, the pen that's sitting right. You hear me tapping? That's sitting right here on the desk next to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just moved. And like I caught it out of the corner of my eye, and my eyes went real wide. I just turned and looked at it. Like, why did the pin just move? But it didn't like move like someone pushed it. It just moved like it was sitting balanced, and then it gradually lost enough balance to fall over. You know, like it's kind of a heavy pin. And I think when I plugged in the headset, I nudged it slightly, and then in like I don't know, a minute later, it finally went off balance enough to roll over. But it freaked me out for a good couple minutes, and now we got ghost bits.
Oh boy.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay, I want to talk about another one.
Okay, let's talk about another one.
That came up during the stream, and I thought of this one. I had figured out, okay, I need to pause the stream because, like, holy cow, this has a lot of words on it, but I think it's really neat.
All right, which one is it?
And it's Midnight Clock.
That is blue. Yeah.
Yes. It's a blue artifact. So for 2 and a blue, it's an artifact. It's rare. You can tap it for a blue mana. So if you're not doing anything else, it's a mana battery. You can pay 2 and a blue, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. At the beginning of each upkeep, not each of your upkeep, each upkeep, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. When the 12th hour counter is put on Midnight Clock, shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library, then draw 7 cards, exile Midnight Clock.
Huh.
How awesome is that?
Yeah, I missed the each upkeep.
Yeah, buddy.
Time.
Yeah, well, the first time, I think, skimming it, I'm like, 12, I get what they're going for, but good lord, that's a bajillion mana. And then I'm like, oh, wait, during your upkeep, you get one. And I'm like, oh, wait. Because, again, you know where I'm going, multiplayer. I'm like, yeah, buddy. Because you're going to get there. The 4 of us are going to drop this. By the time it comes back to me, and after my upkeep, it's got 4 counters on it already. Unless somebody was like, blow up your stupid clock, I'm going to be like, oh, okay. So it's only going to take 3 rotations. I can do basic math. And then all of a sudden I'm getting a quote-unquote free time twister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is this not a sweet card or what? I mean, you know, there you go.
It's cute.
It's not the end-all be-all, but I thought it was really neat.
I mean, it is definitely neat.
Yeah.
And also,
and then,
Miriam just threw 220 bits, but not, and that was those were 30 ghost bits. You just heard right there.
So, I saw again that one was in the stream, and I saw that it's one of the ones that has the variant. But then I was looking through the visual spoiler, and remember, again, I haven't seen all these cards, and I saw the card next to it in the visual spoiler, and I just about lost my mind because, wow.
What, Frogify?
No, the other one.
The one next to it in the variant. He's talking about the animating fairy.
Oh, okay.
No, I meant the one in the visual spoiler.
Ah!
Now what are we talking about?
It's called Run Away Together.
There you go. I was just trying to get you to say the name.
Run Away Together is the name of the card. Look at this card.
Okay, what's it do?
I don't know. It's got a guy running away with a... What is that? So, run away together for 1 and a blue. It's an instant. It's common. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by different players. Return those creatures to their owner's hands, which is a great way of being like, okay, bounce 2 creatures, but if it was just straight bounce 2 creatures for 1 and a blue, that's a really heavy tempo swing. Like, really heavy. So this is a way of, like, balancing it out. But then on the card, it's got this guy, and he's all happy. He's throwing rose petals because he's running away with...
Like a big zombie-looking thing.
Yeah. And I'm like...
Looks Frankenstein-ish shit.
Yeah.
It does look Frankensteinish, yeah.
And he just looks so happy that I'm just like, And the name of the card is literally Run Away Together. So the story is, hey, Chewie, your, progenitus has decided to elope with Mike's worm coil engine. Okay, I can't target progenitus. Go along with me on this. Just they're such a happy couple. Love is love, man. Don't judge.
Love is love, man.
Yeah.
And
Virtue,
the flavor text is, oh, go ahead.
Virtue is virtue, whatever the heart that nurtures it. Malakin, Ventress exile, which I think that last word is like, okay, you were exiled for. People were like, yeah, you go do you, just go do it.
Go do it somewhere else.
Somewhere else. So, but I saw this whole card, and it's a common, and I get it, but man, I love what's happening there. It's just awesome. I just can't wait for the pre-release to be able to say, I'm casting a card named Run Away Together. And the flavor stories, send us an email with the funniest things you decided to make Run Away Together. I would love to read those. Next.
I just like Frogify.
Didn't we think it was going to be Turn to Frog because we already have Turn to Frog?
Yeah.
Yeah? So what's Frogify do?
Well, it's an aura, an enchant creature aura that says 1 and a blue, enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a blue frog with base power and toughness 1/1. So
what
yeah.
does Turn to Frog do?
Turn to
Frog just until end of turn?
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Turn to Frog was an instant for 1 and a blue, and it
Yeah.
did it. So this turns it into a frog forever.
But the name,
Frogify.
It's like embiggen, I wonder if there's going to be an embiggen in this set.
It's like Mortify or anything, but it's Frogify.
Yeah. Also, thank you for the bonus bits, Pinball Witch. Speaking of Pinball Witch, hey, let's do Witching Well.
Sure. Which of that?
Right below
whatever he said. So for a single blue, it's that's uncommon, right? I can't. Or is that common?
No, it's common.
Looks common.
No, that's common. Yeah, okay. So it's a common artifact. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2. Nice. And then for 3 a blue and sacrifice the Witching Well, draw 2 cards. Hey.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A single blue to scry 2 and then have the option to draw some cards later is pretty great.
I mean, if you want to do it right away, it's basically 5 mana, scry 2, then draw 2 cards, which I would probably
the best rate you can get for that.
It's not the best, but now you can split it up if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and also just playing the Witching Well gets you an artifact permanent on the battlefield, which so many other cards in the game like to have.
Yeah. The new Urza commander would absolutely love this because it's a 1-drop artifact in blue that scries and later turns into cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, shout out to Tome Raider for being mispronounced for the foreseeable future.
Whoa, that's cool. I didn't even see that. What's it do?
It doesn't matter. For 2 and a blue, it's a 1/1 flying fairy. It's common. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card.
Oh, okay.
But it's not Lara Croft. It's not Tomb Raider.
It's the Tome Raider. I see what they did there.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it's that art that we saw with the merfolk.
Oh yeah, this card's cool too.
See if you can figure out what story this one's from. Go to green. It's the Love Struck Beast.
Wait, okay. This is the 3 Little Pigs?
Exactly.
Ha! Got there.
So, this is a creature that has an adventure on it. So Love Struck Beast for 2 and a green. He's a 5/5 Beast Noble. And Love Struck Beast cannot attack unless you control a 1/1 creature. Okay?
But it's a 3 mana 5/5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he can't attack unless you have a 1/1 creature.
Yep.
Now
he can block all day long, so
Now his adventure is Heart's Desire for 1 green. The sorcery, create a 1/1 white human creature token. And then it has the remind text and everything. So, we got the Beauty and the Beast story.
Yeah.
So his adventure is he goes out and kidnaps a human girl.
Person, and that's essentially what it looks like in the background too. It's just like, I have to do your laundry. Man.
And as soon as he gets this, girl, he's like, all right, I can go out and fight now. Good. I feel inspired to kill.
He doesn't have to do his own laundry now.
Oh, that's why he couldn't fight.
Got somebody else to do it.
He was busy doing, all the stuff that he can get his 1/1 to do now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the promo art on there, variant art on this is beautiful.
Yeah, actually,
it's very nice.
I actually really like the variant art on this one, like a lot. Oh, hey, we've got the Goldilocks card. I haven't seen this one. We saw the art and we talked about how terrifying it is, but I haven't actually seen what this card does. Flaxen Intruder. Just
what? Do you know the word flaxen?
What's it mean? I'm not familiar with that word.
I'm pretty sure it means blonde.
Yeah.
In this context.
Okay. So blonde intruder. I gotcha. Because
So
should I talk about this?
What's the card do?
Okay.
It sounded like you were about to.
Well, I'm okay. So reading it for the first time. So for a single green, it's a human berserker. Oh, that's adorable and terrifying at the same time. It's an uncommon 1/2. Whenever Flaxen Intruder deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. When you do, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Okay.
It robs your house and runs off into the night.
It robs your house and then runs off. Interesting choice. I mean, it's a 1/2. Its adventure is Welcome Home. Oh, that's just disturbing. Welcome Home. For 5 and 2 green, sorcery adventure, create 3 2/2 green bear creature tokens. Welcome home. Here's some bears. At least she doesn't destroy them right away. So, wow, huh? This is somewhat disturbing on a couple levels.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, the flavor text on the normal card. The middle blade was just right. Are you kidding me?
It's pretty awesome.
It's awesome is one word, but I'm just like, wow. I don't want to think too hard about this card. I want to talk about I'm going to go talk about something else now.
Yeah, speaking of other things to talk about, we should point out, this chat reminded, that the Lovestruck Beast being a beast noble is a new creature type that they're adding.
Yes.
Who knows if they're going to go back and make other cards nobles as part of some grand creature type update. I kind of hope not, because I don't know.
Does that mean some of the things that were lords will be nobles? I hope those.
I was wondering that too.
I don't mind them doing it going forward, but I'm all right with just
I mean, come on, King Solomon is definitely a noble.
Yes, but is Uncle Isfin? You don't know. Maybe he was. Being Uncle Isfin noble. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Right. Let's keep moving.
What's another cool one?
It's been mentioned in chat, and I also wanted just to talk about it.
What's that?
Myself, the Gilded Goose.
Oh yeah, the Gilded Goose.
Here's one of those cards that can use food in a different way. So for a single green, it's a rare 0/2 bird with flying. When it enters the battlefield, create a food token. You can also pay 1 and a green and tap it to create a food token. That's
so it lays eggs. Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, it's going to get annoying. 4 mana, gain 3 life whenever you want, as long as it stays alive. But the last ability, tap and sacrifice a food. Add 1 mana of any color.
So it's like a interesting take on a bird of paradise, but Is it eating its own food?
No, you're taking the eggs and
Oh, she's
making them into
donating
mana.
it to you. Okay.
Yeah.
She's like, here.
I don't know about donate. You're like Mike said, you're just taking it. You're like, oh look, here's a golden egg. That's mine. And then you fry it
Cool.
up.
And then you get some red mana. Or blue mana, whatever.
So
I'm not
yeah,
picky.
Gilded Goose is pretty cool.
Yeah, I dig it.
The first card we've seen, I think the first card we've seen that deals with food in a different way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's at least one more on this page.
Yeah.
Oh, there is?
Mhm.
I saw when I was playing Brawl, I saw a Savvy Hunter. It's in multicolor for 1 a black and a green. It is a 3/3 human warrior, and whenever it attacks or blocks, you create a food token. And anytime, separate ability, you can sacrifice 2 foods to draw a card.
I like the way it says sacrifice 2 foods.
Yeah.
I
So,
don't know why, but that templating just makes me giggle.
so that's another way of not only does she help get the foods, but then she lets you use the foods
For
in a
sustenance.
different way. Yeah.
I guess if you're sacrificing 2 foods to draw a card, what are you sacrificing an animal to see the future or something?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Why not?
It's not
And
up
it's
to her what you do with the food once she brings it to you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it came the quote that came up in chat. There is at least one non-token food. We have one card in the gallery right now. A golden egg is an artifact with the subtype food. Costs 2 mana. It's common. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. You can pay 1, tap, and sacrifice golden egg. Add 1 mana of any color. Or you can pay 2, tap, and sacrifice golden egg to gain 3 life.
See, that was in the
Oh.
Brawl deck, and I used it, and I never caught the fact that it was actually a food. I don't think it actually mattered, but I never caught the fact that it was actually a non-token food. That's cool.
That's really cool. So that's why it says foods instead of a food token. Because there are, like... Because food is just a subtype. Like, sacrifice a goblin.
Yeah.
Sacrifice a food. Sacrifice 2 goblins. Sacrifice 2 foods. Okay. I get it.
You see what they're going for here?
Yeah, it's cool. All right. Oh, we have a couple of lands. Let's just hit those real quick.
I was just looking at those, so.
So Tournament Grounds. Taps for a colorless mana. It's uncommon. Or you can tap to add a red, a white, or a black. Spend this mana only to cast a knight or equipment spell. Wow.
Read the flavor
So-
text.
It's a specific tri-land.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because apparently the creature types are split up into, or at least the big ones in this set are split up into, what's the word? Wedges.
Mm-hmm.
And the knights are Mardu. That's the only one I remember off the top of my head, but I'm sure that chat will.
I see green, blue, and black fairies, so I guess that's one of the other ones.
That makes sense.
Yeah, fairy. What is that? Green, blue, black
Sultai.
is Sultai
Sultai.
fairies. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes you wonder what's Teamer going to be.
And then we have Witch's Cottage.
Yeah.
Which is neat. It's a swamp. So because it's a swamp, it taps for black mana, but it's land swamp. You remember we had this discussion in the Discord server. There have been some cards printed that have basic land types that aren't basic lands.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a cycle of them, the Sapseep Forest and Leech-Ridden Swamp and those.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And there was the Murmuring Bosk was a forest.
Yes.
And yeah. Okay, so Witch's Cottage is a common land swamp, which means it taps for black mana because it's a swamp. That's reminder text because that's just what swamps do. Witch's Cottage enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 3 or more swamps. Okay. And when Witch's Cottage enters the battlefield untapped, you may put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library.
That's
All right.
neat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Seems neat. I like the fact that you can always just play it for a tap swamp if you really just need it. It's not like you have to. It's not like it's something where Temple of False God where it's not on unless you have the other swamps or anything. You can always just play it quote unquote slow. So you've always got, and it counts as a swamp. So if you've drafted more than one of these, then hey, you know. There you go.
And it's neat that it's an interesting play on the adamant concept. If someone already said that, I'm sorry. I might have been distracted a few minutes ago.
No, I don't think so, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Cool. Jark, you still with us?
Yep.
What's a card?
Get to choose. One that I kind of like, think is interesting, is the Inspiring Veteran,
All right.
right beside a Garrick.
Right beside a Garrick. What's it do?
So it is for a red and a white. It's a 2/2 uncommon human knight, but it's a lord. Other knights you control get +1/+1. So since you're, since we've got the Knight's mobilization, the Circle of Loyalty, and all the other fun knight stuff going on, why not have something that go ahead and makes them even stronger? So the Circle of Loyalty, Inspiring Knight. The knights are going to be, they're going to be interesting.
Yeah. Neat little tribal guy.
One that I do just again as another little additional one is
Okay, wait.
go ahead.
The flavor text on the Inspiring Veteran is just adorable.
Okay. I fight for my daughter, who may not set foot on a battlefield for many years. Remember who you fight for.
Get it? Because he's inspiring.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I guess that's her with him on the horse right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Pretty great.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the other one, Dirt?
Another interesting one is the Crystal Slipper.
Oh,
So that's
yeah.
in red.
Yes.
So I mean, I'm really liking that there are artifacts in the colors, because that's been a while since we've seen that. Like it shows up every now and then, but
Well, they said somewhere recently, it might have been in the State of Design article that.
Yeah, and it's something that he's talked about elsewhere as well. That it's a balancing tool that they've started to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the problem with artifacts since the very beginning is how do you do artifacts that aren't just better than what's available in a color already? You know, so now this is a way. I think it might have been in either the state of the game that he put out 2 weeks ago, or it might have been sometime around when we were discussing Magic 2020, because I believe there were colored artifacts in there as well.
Yes.
So like some of the equipment, so it might have been in there as well. But it's
Yeah, 'cause
something that they seem actually more interested in doing rather than less.
And I think it's a really great idea, because before artifacts seemed to either be in their own little realm, or it had some ability that allowed you to splash kind of another color
Mm-hmm.
without actually playing another color, because they sometimes had an ability that you wanted, but you didn't want to delve into another color, so you just play an artifact that sort of had that what you were looking for.
I mean,
But anyway, I digress.
Think about this. I will say, what does this card do?
So Crystal Slipper for 1 and a red. It's an equipment artifact. Equipped creature has +1/+0 and has haste. and it equips for 1.
Right. So this is a decent equipment. It feels really red, right? So it feels appropriate in the color that it's in. The problem with doing powerful non-colored artifacts is that you have something like lightning greaves. So,
or I think this basic version, this is Strider Harness, but it costs 1 less. Strider Harness just gives haste, right? It doesn't give a bonus.
I think so.
Power toughness bonus.
I thought it gave +1/+1, but I might
maybe
be
it does.
misremembering that.
Gatherer.
Gatherer sucks.
Taking too long. Here we go. Strider Harness. Oh yeah, you're +1/+1 and haste.
And what does that cost?
It costs 3 and costs 1 to equip.
Okay. But how old is that?
It was reprinted in one of the Ixalan sets.
Oh, okay.
It was common in Scars of Mirrodin, uncommon in Oath of the Gatewatch, common in Rivals of Ixalan.
Gotcha.
Alrighty then.
So not the best example because it's comparably costed, but
yeah.
But still. Ooh, did this have a different version? No. Holy crap. Okay, wait. We got to talk about this card.
Yeah, it's just a common. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just like rares and adventure cards that got alternate stuff.
So
what do we need to talk about, Chewy?
So I want to talk about the Embereth Shieldbreaker, not because of the card itself, because the card itself is whatever, but because of the promo art.
It's super trippy.
It is interesting.
So Embereth Shieldbreaker for 1 and a red is a 2/1 human knight that is uncommon. Courage is the only shield I need. That's its text. It's a vanilla 2/1. But it has an adventure that it can go on called Battle Display. For a single red, it's a sorcery. Destroy target artifact. So it's almost 1 red enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact, but not quite. So
yeah. You can break it up. You don't have to pay 3 all at once.
Yeah, that's why it's not exactly. Yeah. But
because we've gotten better rates on that. We've gotten a red and 2 for a 2/2 that comes in and destroys something.
Right.
But look at this promo art. It is very
oh wait, that's also a knight. So it also has a very, very relevant creature type.
Yeah. But this art it's like, so the background is white, but also part of what she's wearing is white. And part of what people standing behind her are white. It reminds me of some sort of highly stylized art style, but I can't think of who the artist is. Crap. It's a comic book artist from like the 90s that is trying to come to mind, but it's not. But that's really freaking cool is what I'm getting at. If you're listening to the audio version, go look up the variant art on Embereth Shieldbreaker. The link is in the show notes. Damn.
It's very evocative.
The normal art is perfectly serviceable. It's good. You know, she's breaking a shield because courage is the only shield she needs.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like, what? Like the variant art.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, we should talk about the other.
I just had considering the, in practice, her ability is probably breaking something your opponent controls. So I'm imagining her going around like taking the shield out of someone else's hand and breaking it over her head, and the other person being like, "Hey, what the?"
She's like, "Hey, courage is the only shield I need." And they're like, "Yeah, but what about me?" She's like, "Well, I guess you don't need that anymore now, do you?"
Now you have courage.
Then I stab you.
So, okay, let's talk about the other creature type that's new that we know of. The Piper of the Swarm in black. Piper of the Swarm, for 1 and a black, is a rare human warlock. Warlock. And it's a 1/3. And it has the following abilities. Rats you control have menace. Yup.
Yeah, they do.
It's the Pied Piper.
Oh, cool. I like it.
For 1 and a black and tap, you can create a 1/1 rat.
Makes sense. He's like, hey, rats, come to me. And they're like, yeah, sure, okay.
And then for 2 black and tap and sacrifice 3 rats, gain control of target creature. I don't know how that works, but...
Hey, rats, I need 3 of you to go get that guy. You work for me now.
Bring me that worm coil engine. The rats go beep, beep, beep. Because rats make bip noises.
I would be 100% on board with this if it changed the creature type of the thing you stole
to a rat.
Yeah. But, I mean, in the story, doesn't, like, the townspeople hire him to get rid of the rats, but they refuse to pay him, so he enchants the children to walk away with him, right? So maybe this is a little more of, like, I don't just do rats. So maybe that's part of it. What's the moral of the story?
Yeah, now, a thing you have to remember, these are inspired by fairy tales. They're not one-to-one replicas of fairy tale.
Right.
Like someone in the Discord server, when we were talking about the Gilded Goose, they were like, I'm sad that you can't, like, sacrifice the goose and something. Or something like that. And I was like, it's not a one-to-one. Like, there's the goose that laid the golden egg. There you go. This is the Pied Piper. There you go.
Yeah. Well, and like Goldilocks and the Flaxen Intruder, you see the comparison.
Yeah.
But you're not like, where's the bowls of soup, so.
Exactly.
At least she doesn't turn the bears into food. Oh. All right.
Also, can we just talk about the name of the card next to Bake Into a Pie?
That would be Belle of the Brawl.
She's the Belle of the Brawl.
I like it. For 2 and a black, 3/2 human knight. She's uncommon with menace. That's cool. Whenever Belle of the Brawl attacks, other knights you control get +1/+0 until end of turn.
Yeah, pretty good.
Cool.
Well, they did say, I closed it. In the mechanics article, when it talked about Adamant, I'll pull it up real quick right here, that for the different houses or whatever, the courts.
Each color-aligned court is dedicated to a particular virtue: loyalty, knowledge, persistence, courage, and strength.
And I'm fairly certain that those are in color order. And it's nice with black to not just see, like, hatred or evil. It's persistence, which is a very black attribute, but it's black in a sort of positive light. It's something, it just doesn't give up. So, yeah, I just thought that was neat.
The flavor text is nifty, too. Locked Thwain Knights take pride in being the last one standing in a fight or on a dance floor.
And, as we said, persistence.
Yes.
So.
That's pretty funny.
I would be too intimidated to ask her to dance, though. And that has nothing to do with the fact that I don't really dance very well.
Yeah, nothing at all.
Nope.
We're running out of the cards that are, like, super neat.
Yeah. Do we want to talk before? I mean, at some point, I figure we'll leave the rest because we'll have more to talk about next week. Do we want to talk about the new legendary creatures in the Brawl decks?
Oh, yeah. So we haven't really talked about the Brawl cards yet because they're not in the set. They're only in the Brawl decks.
Yeah, it's like the Planeswalker
Do they
decks.
also appear in the fancy booster or no?
Yes, they do.
But like, you know how the Planeswalker decks have a unique Planeswalker and usually some cards that reference the Planeswalker.
Yeah,
and
but
they're
those cards
unique
are always bad.
Yeah. So, but now we have Brawl decks, and these cards are considered to be in the set because they have the set.
Expansion symbol.
Thank you. I was like, what's the word for that? But you will not be able to get them from normal draft boosters. They're in the decks, and actually, if you play Arena now, you can try these decks for free. I say decks, I shouldn't say that. Here's my frustration, is that they said, hey, go try this right now after the stream. I'm like, great. I loaded up, and I'm like, it said, you can play Brawl. I'm like, looking like, where can I build a Brawl deck? You can't build a Brawl deck yet. That is a feature coming in like mid-October or something. You can try one of these decks. And when I say one, like, I picked one, and I played it, and I got to 6 wins, which means I've gotten all of my wins and all my prizes. I'm like, sweet, let me try another one. And they're like, no, you picked a deck already. I'm like, okay, how long does this event go for? For like the next 25 days. So pick one.
It does not go that long.
It doesn't?
No, it only goes to like the 9th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, so maybe they'll renew and you get a chance to play another one. But for right now, I picked Corvold, Fey Cursed King, because I love dragons, and I noticed the new noble type. I'm like, and I feel like Jund colors are usually pretty good in something that feels like a semi-limited environment where, you know, removal is important. So I picked him, and let me go ahead and talk about this guy as a segue, I guess, unless
Okay,
we
so
want to say anything.
before we start on that,
Yes,
again,
sir, go ahead.
these cards, and luckily they're listed separately in the Brawl section,
Right.
which is brilliant.
Yes.
But these cards, it's weird. There are 20 of them listed here. I don't know how many of them there are. I can't remember. But oh, and chat is saying you can change decks because Jersey Bricklayer played all 4, so you're probably just bad at this.
That's me. Then I looked for it, I couldn't find it.
But these are like it's weird because they're like a little miniature commander set that's coming out concurrently with the set.
Mm-hmm.
But not.
And they'll be standard legal.
Yeah, and they'll be standard legal.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It's something different.
The fact that it's part of the set, but it's not, but it is. Like, Clues loves to rant every time they release more crap. He loves to rant about the fragmentation of standard. Like, he went on like a 25-minute rant when we talked about the 3 different kinds of boosters. Yeah.
I remember I listened to that episode, and I was like, I'm with you for a little bit, but wow, he went on a lot.
But like
a lot.
Now that we're seeing it, I'm like, do we talk about these now? Do we wait and talk about them later? Do we
But here's something where I think it works better if the supplemental product, like hidden inside the set, is actually legal and standard, because you don't get this weird confusion where it's like, okay, these cards in this deck are legal and standard, but these cards haven't been printed in Onslaught, they're not legal. Or, you know, this version of Muyan Ling is only legal in China, or, you know, dumb crap like that.
Well, also keep in mind too, one of the particular things about Brawl that you either love it, hate it, or really don't care is when you put out a commander product. It doesn't really matter when you put it out, because you're using it for commander and you're using it for non-rotating formats. With Brawl, you kind of need to link it, a supplemental Brawl product, to a set, because this says when this set rotates, so do these cards.
Yeah. With the definition of Brawl, you have to link it to Standard anyway. That's right.
You got it. And nothing prevents you from saying, well, I love EDH. I don't like sets that rotate. One of my frustrations with a certain very well-known content producer for Magic is that he has expressed his distaste for non-rotating formats. In fact, in a recent video, he actually went out straight out and said, I don't like formats that don't rotate. I'm like, okay. And he has talked a lot of, I'll say, trash about Brawl and about how basically it's just inferior EDH. And I think what it comes down to is he doesn't like the format because it doesn't rotate. It is a feature, not a bug of the format. If you don't like that, don't play it. But this is a way to address some of this while staying in tune with how they wanted the format to progress.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Professor.
Oh, well, Professor is made of hot takes because he needs the clicks. So, sure.
I like a decent amount of his stuff. I do. I feel like fairly well produced. But this is a point that I will disagree with him on ad infinitum. So, yeah. Anything else about the cards in general, or shall we go into it?
Yeah, let's get in it.
All right. So, like I said, I chose, and I'm glad I can choose again, but I had a really good time with Corvold, Fey Cursed King. Apparently, he's a noble that was cursed into being a dragon, or was he always a dragon? I don't know. We don't know what the curse is. For 2 and a black, red, and green, he is a 4/4 with flying. And when he enters the battlefield or attacks, sacrifice another permanent, which 9 times out of 10 for me was food. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on Corvold and draw a card. Could not tell you how good it felt to be like, play this guy, eat a food, play a Terramorphic Expanse.
Yikes.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. I think my biggest one got up to a 12/12 at one point. So it was neat. I liked it. And his whole deck is built around sacrificing things. I know, ingenious, right?
What?
So, yeah. And it has other things that fit in there. This was the deck, like I said, that had the guy that sacked 2 food to draw a card. Ironically, there was a game where what's that white enchantment, not from this set, from a little while ago, that whenever opponent draws a card, Smothering Tithe, they have to pay 2 or you draw a card. And they got it out like super early. So I was trying very hard to keep him off. Oh, no, it makes a treasure. And he was otherwise stuck for mana. So I was having to pay all this extra mana and not draw extra cards. It was driving me crazy. But so, anyway, Corvold, awesome. I love dragons. Dragons are cool. This one's a lord.
The flavor text is great. Transformed at his own wedding, he promptly ate the banquet, the gifts, and the guests.
And I didn't see the flavor text, so yeah. It definitely looks like he was a person, a human being that is now a dragon. I can think of worse curses.
So I guess while we're here, let's knock out these legendaries.
Yeah, let's do it.
Like, hey Dirk, you still with us?
Yep.
Did you see
Sir Gwyn, Hero of Ashvale?
Is it? Yeah. I just realized that didn't say Sir S-I-R. It said Sir S-Y-R, and my brain went...
Mm-hmm.
Say it again, Dirk. I like the way you said it.
Sir Gwyn, Hero of Ashvale.
We'll go with that until we hear otherwise,
is that
I guess.
The female version of Sir for knight? Because this is referenced.
I think it's used. No, let's scroll up a bit. No, Sir Conrad in black uses the same title. So I think that's just this plains.
Oh, is that the version of Sir?
Title.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So what does she do? Gwyn.
So for 3, 3 red, white, black. Making sure I get my colors right. She is a legendary human knight that's mythic and is a 5/5. Has vigilance and menace.
Ooh.
Have fun with that. Whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, you draw a card, you lose 1 life. Sold.
Yeah.
About to say, I can see Mike on that one.
Keep going.
So, equipment you control have equip Knight 0. So if your creatures are
What?
knights, the equip is 0 apparently.
Oh,
Yes, it actually gives them another ability.
The fact
So-
that like the templating on that is really weird.
It don't. I wish there was a colon after have,
Or
but
like
I don't-
quotation marks or something. It
Yeah.
just says equipment you control have equipped Knight 0. What?
Now this deck has there's a hammer in Magic 2020 that gives a creature +10/+10 and they lose flying, but it costs
Yeah.
like 8 to equip, right?
Right.
Yeah, this deck has that equipment.
Yeah, What's that called? The big ass hammer? Colossal
The-
hammer?
Colossus
Something
Hammer.
like that.
Colossus?
And-
Something like that.
And one opponent playing this deck got that out on a life linker. I got him down to 3 life, and he got it on a life linking knight, and I'm like,
You tried.
I lost. Yeah. Okay. Play this with knights. I mean, and equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Then we have Tulane, Teller of Tales.
Yeah. Did we talk about this card? This one was revealed early. I don't know if we talked
It
about
was
this
revealed
or
a
not.
while ago, but I can't remember whether we talked about it.
Well, let's talk about it for just 2 seconds.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought it was.
I feel like the art looks familiar.
In the article or around the same time that Mark Rosewater put up about the new booster type. They said, and we're doing Brawl.
Oh, yeah. This
Awesome.
was the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we did, but let's run through him again for just completeness.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do it. Tulane, Teller of Tales. For 2, a green, a white, and a blue is a legendary human druid. A 2/4 with vigilance. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah.
3 and tap. Return target creature you control to its owner's hand. Whew!
Yeah, we talked about how this guy turns every creature spell into a coiling oracle. So yeah. Okay.
So wait. Thus far, all of these say when you do something, draw a card.
Yep, that seems to be a repeating theme.
All right, let's move
Yes.
up one.
This last one does not. It's
Okay.
a warlock.
Alayla. Sorry,
Mike.
I'm sorry.
Hey, Mike, you like fairies, right?
Sure.
And it
Yeah.
doesn't say draw a card. Ha, loser, you read it.
Oh. Alayla, artful provocateur.
Oh my.
For 1 and an Esper. A white, a blue, and a black. Alayla is a legendary fairy warlock. A 2/3 with flying, death touch, and lifelink. So extra fancy vampire nighthawk. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+0.
Ooh.
That's nice. Whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment spell, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying.
Oh.
Yeah.
That can get out of hand.
This does actually, from personal experience, get out of hand. And that Death Touch and Lifelink is not to be forgotten. Doesn't matter how big your dragon tyrant guy is. And and because this is a commander, it's very easy to just replay it. So
Mhm.
yeah, this one's really good. And I feel like
Huh.
okay, so none of these are super. No disrespect to these legendary creatures, but let's be honest, none of these are super Johnny. Like, I wonder how I play this, because they pretty much say on the card, here's things you should play with them.
Except for Tulane, everyone else is very specific.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Like
And-
play
but
with
this
knights and
one-
equipments. Play with flyers and artifacts and enchantments.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I do feel
Well,
like
Tulane is more like put this in a deck with creatures and lands.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I do feel like this one, the Artful Provocateur, artifacts and enchantments, there's a lot of wiggle room there. So, you have the chance to be a little creative. So, and she's a warlock.
Didn't Eric Clapton do a song about her?
No,
That's Layla.
She got me on my knees.
Not a Layla.
Wasn't she on Futurama?
That's Leela.
Okay.
Wasn't she in Fifth Element?
Lilu?
There you go. I was like, surely someone remembers.
Multipass.
That was the title of that collaboration between. Oh, I can't remember the artist's name. Never mind. That wasn't gonna work.
Wasn't this a book by Nabokov?
Oh God,
I can answer that one.
No, that's Lolita. Yeah.
Lolita, yeah.
Lolita.
Yeah. The flavor text here actually gives a little more insight into maybe what might be happening with Oko, because I always thought it was interesting, well, always, like for the week that we've known, that, okay, these Fae are very mischievous and they're trying to tap, the hierarchy is trying to tap them down. I wonder if it's because you have this dissident faction that is like, screw the rules, you know, we're gonna keep doing what we want to do, because between Ramble and her, you know, it seems to be some that are still really dedicated to either mischievous or malicious acts. This flavor text here is, Ramble's pranks are child's play. My games will topple kingdoms. And the way that she says games here, you know, obviously it's still some playfulness. It's not dark schemes like Nicol Bolas. This is literally like, I'm having fun, and screw the world if it gets in the way. It's, you know, I'm playing my game.
Look, some fairies just want to watch the world burn. And if you were equally as confused as I was when Brian was just using the wrong name, it's Rankle in the flavor text.
Oh, Rankle. I said Ramble.
What's his name? The scroll master of pranks. Yeah,
right.
This guy here.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a collaboration between Metallica and Lou Reed. It was called Lulu. That's what it was.
And that's what Mike's been doing for the last couple minutes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So those are the legendary creatures that are in the Brawl decks. Given that it's starting to get late,
Yeah.
Let's see here. Any more?
I don't think there's anything here we can't get to next week, assuming they don't.
Except for next week, we'll have another like 100 cards. So.
Yeah.
Oh, Shining Armor is really pretty.
It is.
Yeah.
And you can attach it to a knight when it enters the battlefield.
What? No, you have to attach it to it now. If you have one.
That's right.
So Shining Armor for 1 and a white is a common equipment with Flash. Get it? Flash? So Shining... Anyway. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to target knight you control. That's pretty sweet.
Get it?
Equipped creature gets +0/+2 and has vigilance, and it equips for 3. So that's just nice and flavorful.
Yep. And while we're talking about equipment and knights, there's the Steel Claw Lance, which is a multicolored artifact for a black and a red. It is an equipment. It's uncommon. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, so not bad for 2 mana. You can equip knight for 1 mana, or equip just generically of 3 mana. So not bad. See that? Yeah. Nice little utility. Hey, I happen to have knights. It's a little cheaper. Awesome. Oh, I'm not running knights. Pay 3 for a to equip a 2/2. A +2/+2 actually feels pretty fair.
No,
Limited,
that feels kind of busted.
Alrighty.
Oh, we've got these 2 hybrid cards we didn't talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Whoops.
They're pretty neat.
So the Arcanist's Owl costs 4 blue-white hybrid. You remember the hybrid mana? Yeah, we're back to that again. So 4 mana, either blue or white. It's an artifact bird. That's a 3/3. It's uncommon. It has flying. When it enters the battlefield, you look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact or enchantment from among them. put them in and put that into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. And Pinball Witch beat me to it. She just asked in chat, "Is this the bird from Clash of the Titans?" And I was just about to make that joke. So, yeah. So that's cool.
Gosh, yeah, 3/3 flyer and a card for 4 mana. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's actually easier to cast than a combination blue, white, or theoretically mono white or mono blue creature, because you have the freedom to pay either of those. So it actually, hybrid mana is confusing because it makes it look like, oh, this should be harder to cast, but it's actually super easy. Barely an inconvenience. So, yeah.
Then, hey Dirk, did you see the Fireborn Knight?
Mm-hmm. Look kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, the Fireborn Knight for 4 red-white hybrid mana, so grand total of 4 mana, for a 2/3 uncommon human knight that has double strike.
Ooh.
So a 2/3 with double strike.
Oof.
And for 4 red-white hybrid mana, Fireborn Knight gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
Like, that's expensive, but you really only need to pump it once to see a massive difference.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a big impact.
Yeah.
A 3/4 with double strike.
You
Is
know you
super
got it.
serious.
Because you just paid it to get him. So this definitely feels like you drop this guy, and then when it's your turn, you attack and you look at them and they're like, all right, well, I know you can do it, so try and do something that, doesn't completely screw me over, or in theory, it's like just take 4 instead of taking more or something. And then you still have, if you haven't spent the mana on this because it can be a bluff, you still got that mana to spend on other things.
Stark just said, "Boy, it'd be a shame if I had all this cheap or free equipment."
Oh.
It really would be. Hey, you remember how we were talking about Steelclaw Lance,
Yeah.
+2/+2?
Yeah.
All right. Shall we stop here?
Yeah, I think it's probably a good place to stop. We covered a bunch of the neat stuff. Explained all of the things that needed explaining. Oh, wait, no. We have to talk about Sir Conrad the Grim. Because this card is my baby. Have you guys seen this card?
It's pretty cool.
For 3 black, he's a 5/4 legendary human knight who's uncommon. Wow, okay. Whenever another creature dies, or a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves your graveyard, Sir Conrad the Grim deals 1 damage to each opponent. So one more time. Another creature dies, a creature goes to the graveyard from anywhere else, or a creature card leaves your graveyard. All of those cause a trigger. And for 1 and a black, each player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard.
This belongs in your graveyard deck.
This belongs in every deck ever.
This belongs in so many decks.
I love Sir Conrad the Grim. Plus, on top of everything else, he's wearing purple. It's like they made it just for me.
This guy was in the Brawl deck that I played, and I'm like, sweet. And because it's Brawl, I don't think about rarity. I had no clue this guy's an uncommon. Wow.
Yeah. I'm thinking of asking him if he'll be my BFF and or go to the prom with me. Wait, it's September. When's prom?
The prom is tomorrow. Wait.
No. Anyway. Yeah, Sir Conrad's awesome. That's probably good though, right?
I think
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah. Okay. So, they're dorks. No, he will never replace Massacre Girl in my heart. But
But they would get along really well together.
Massacre Girl wouldn't go out with me. without stabbing me.
Massacre Girl and Sir Conrad should totally run away together.
Wonk, wonk, wonk. I always thought a fun runaway together would be like Emrakul and something else.
Well, one Emrakul has protection from colored spells. The other one has protection from instants. So
yeah, I'm afraid Emrakul can't run away with anyone.
That is sad.
Well,
boo.
Scuzo says Brawl is fun, and Brawl is fun. I am still a fan of Brawl. So now I know I can switch decks on Arena, so that's awesome.
So
Final thoughts?
Yep.
Final thoughts?
I want to do mine real quick before Dirk leaves because I didn't know if maybe Dirk had heard this news. Dirk, did you hear the other news coming out of the announcement?
No.
They have revealed the names of the next 4 sets to be released in 2020.
Oh, right.
Yes. So our next stop...
We had a graphic for that somewhere.
We did.
I think I saw it on Facebook, but I don't know where it came from originally.
Wait, I saw it in the Discord server. Hang on, let me go get it real quick, so I can show this on screen. It was in the Monday Night Magic channel. Now, how do I open? No. Open original. That'll throw it up on screen, and then I can go back to you guys and. Okay, there we go. Well, there's part of it.
Okay. So the next set we're going to is Theros Beyond Death. And the set will take place on Theros, but the entire set takes place in the underworld. And I think that's really fascinating. Because I was thinking, well, of course, we've already seen that, and I thought back to it, and I'm like, I've read the novels, I remember the sets pretty well, and aside from like the depiction of a Cerberus, we haven't spent time down there. So, not to mention, that's where my girl is. So, Elspeth, we're coming to get you, girl.
I was gonna say, wait, Sam is in the Theros underworld?
No, not that girl.
Oh.
That would be... I shouldn't be sitting here if my daughter's actually in the Theros underworld. I'd be a bad parent. Then the next one is Ikoria, Lair of Behemoths. And that, all Mark Rosewater would say about it is it's a world of monsters. And he said something about building your own monster. And that sounds cool. Core 2021. So this one, the core set that will be coming out next year. All they would say about it is if you like Teferi, you'll like this set. So I'm wondering if it's like, we had the emphasis on Chandra in 2020 with some of her stuff, which in the State of the Game article, Mark said that he felt like that didn't come across. So they're upping the ante. So I guess that means like half the cards in the set will be about Teferi. So, yay. I mean, I guess...
Teferi's had a really long and bizarre life, so...
He has.
Like, that could work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't... As long as the whole thing is not like, Uber control is the best. So... And then finally, we have... I can't read that second word.
Zendikar Rising.
Rising. So, yeah. So, we're going back to Zendikar, and Mark says... If you liked original Zendikar and you're tired of Eldrazi and you want to get back to just like crazy Indiana Jones Adventureland, this is what we're going for. And I'm thinking, yeah, I can get down with that. I thought the Eldrazi as an idea were an interesting concept. I'm not like boo Eldrazi, but Zendikar and what it represents and where it started is really fascinating. And now we can get past the whole desolate wasteland thing and back to like crazy awesome adventures. So next year, looking like a pretty awesome year, and all of those are single plane sets and single block sets. So
well, they're not doing blocks anymore, remember? So
right, well, yeah, they said that, and then Ravnica, which I know was not a block, but really.
Well, okay. only the first two were Ravnica sets. This is the thing I keep seeing people complain about.
I know.
Only Ravnica. I can't remember the names of the damn sets now. It's Allegiance and the one before that. Guilds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Guilds of
Yeah.
Ravnica?
Yeah, Guilds of Ravnica.
Yeah, those are the two Ravnica sets. The third one was not the third one. It just happened to take place on Ravnica. And it wasn't Ravnica-y at all.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. But here we're actually getting different settings. We're getting different everything. So this is our first real chance, aside from Eldraine, leading into this, to see this variety, to see this mix. And I am very much looking forward to it. So
I really wish that they hadn't told us all this.
why is that?
Well, it's the damn Return to Ravnica all over again. Like, we've seen a handful of cards from the new set, and already people are talking about what Lair of Behemoths means and what the create your own monster mechanic could be. And oh my god, our fetch is going to be in Zendikar. Shut up! We haven't even gotten the damn Eldraine cards yet.
And I definitely I see your point, but I feel like the whole Return to Ravnica thing completely overshadowed Avacyn Restored.
True.
Just like beyond a doubt. I feel like there's still, and I'm not on the internet as much as you are, so you have to forgive me, but I feel like there's still a lot of hype. I'm certainly super hyped for Eldraine. So to me, this is a little bit like, hey, we know you like these places. They're coming up. Now back to like adventures and food and stuff. So
I was just like, for the last year or so, I've really enjoyed not knowing.
Would you have felt better about this if they made this announcement in like a month and a half after the set had been out for a couple weeks?
At least like after the pre-release or something.
Yeah, like I would prefer, me personally, I would prefer not to know. I really love the Hearthstone thing where a month or so before the set comes out, we find out the name, they drip feed us cards, the set comes out, and it's done. And we don't know anything about the next set until about a month before it comes out. They give us the name and the trailer, and they drip feed us cards for a month, and then the set comes out, and you're done. I really love that about Hearthstone because I don't know, I just do.
See, I agree with you on the drip feed. I hate stuff like leaks. They, that's bad. I sometimes when we have no idea what's coming though, like anything is like what's the next set coming out in 2 months before we knew about Eldraine. That to me felt a little bit like we should have heard something by now. So I see your point. I politely disagree with a little bit. Again, I'm okay with this because this gives me a little chance to speculate and go, but I don't feel like I have completely lost focus on what's right in front of me. And that's just me. Other people will be like, well, screw Eldraine. I get that. But I'm still loving what I'm seeing. So I'm able to compartmentalize and still think, this gives me a thought of like, okay, it's been a couple of weeks after the pre-release at this point. I wonder what will be happening in Theros and all that. And to me, I know you're saying don't do it at all. As far as like Mike said, doing it after the pre-release, I feel like that would almost be a little bit like what we have seen for the last year, which is like, here's this set. Okay, we're done with it. By the way, we're coming out with a new product in 2 months or a month and a half or 2 weeks sometimes. Get hyped for that. And so I would rather by doing this at the beginning of preview season, it's not like, okay, you guys love Eldraine, you've had your hands on the product for like 24 hours, here's the next thing, So I don't know that there is one way to do this best. I think this way is fine, personally, but I see Chewy's point about, keep it unknown.
Like I'm not saying don't ever tell us. Like you don't have to mirror the Hearthstone model, but like there's no reason to know what is coming out after Core Set 2021 right now. There's literally no reason.
Yeah. Allows them to queue up the hype now, to start it now, just a little bit of a nudge, and then say later, like, okay, we got. I don't know.
That's too far out, though.
Too far out. I got you.
And especially like at the beginning of preview season, like we said before, like wait a bit, like there's this giant like dead zone, or unless it's in the summer when they release 12 sets in a row. But there's this giant dead zone between this set and the next set. You could throw it out in the middle of that to start building up the hype without impacting the current hype. And yeah, Stark also just pointed out the thing that drives me up the wall is he says, my sticking point is I hate baseless speculation. And yes, because right now, poor Mark Rosewater is getting inundated with stupid questions on his Blogatog Tumblr account about the mechanics in Lair of Behemoths. And like...
Which, wow, he won't be able to talk about that for forever. But he won't just ignore them is the problem. So he likes to like... People are like, is this going to be like whatever from the last unset? And he's like, no. Well, that's information. So I guess, my summation, I'm okay with the way they did this time. It doesn't bother me. I get the point. My takeaway is, again, looking forward, hey, we're going to a bunch of places that are either new, like Ikoria, or places we haven't been to, and we're spending a little bit of time on each one, and we're not getting slogged down at each one. So that, for me, net positive. There we go.
That part is good.
Yeah.
Next one set on Theros, one set on a new place, a core set that doesn't matter, and one set on Zendikar. Like, well, okay, we don't know that there's only one set on Zendikar. Let's be honest.
As far as we know.
Yeah.
Could be, 2021. You loved Zendikar and we set it up real well. Here's 4 more sets on Zendikar. And we're like, yay!
Turns out the Theros Underworld is actually Zendikar.
Oh! Does that mean that the Underworld was the journey we took along the friends we had?
Oh my god!
All right. I am heading out. Sorry to bust in front of you, Dirk. I know you got to go too. I was trying to make that quick, and it was more of a discussion than I realized. Everybody, thanks for being here. Keep listening to these guys.
Oh yeah.
My thing is with the release of the sets and everything is, I find it interesting for him to come out early and to let us know what's coming up. I'm kind of mixed on my feelings of, because I kind of like the surprise, but knowing also excites me. So I'm sort of torn in the middle of, I don't want to know, but now that I know, I'm like, okay, I'm looking forward to it. That sort of feeling.
Yeah.
I think the only thing is, for me is, so Trevor is going to be picking up, he's doing baseball in the fall. And part of our joy today was, Trevor started baseball practice Tuesday and today. And so I took Trevor to baseball practice and then asked the coach, what time is practice going to be over? And he said, around 8. And my thought was, well, all right, well, my wife's coming to pick him up. Because I didn't think I was going to be able to go run off, go pick up my son and then come back and everything. So, but yeah, that's my, I'm loving that my son likes baseball and he's having a fun season so far. And I think he's going to really enjoy it. I feel kind of torn because it's an extra thing I have to do in addition to all the fun stuff I have to do as a teacher and trying to make sure everybody's fed and homework's done and all that. Trevor is in the 3rd grade now, so he's in the grade where in North Carolina they do tons of testing, and the testing all starts in 3rd grade. So he's officially in that grade where, hey, you've got lots of homework, and you're going to take an EOG.
Yeah.
And if you don't do well, we're going to make you do after school. We're going to make you stay over the summer and do extra stuff. So, and then because he likes baseball, it's like trying to fit baseball into that schedule too. So it's just a little stressful.
Makes sense.
I was telling the guys at the very beginning that I had my evaluation with my principal or my professional plan with my principal about what my goals are this year and everything. And he said, how are you feeling? Or how's the semester going so far? And I told him, well, it kind of feels like I'm furiously laying the track down with the train right behind me. And his response was, well, as long as the train's not on top of you or running you over, you're good. So I was like, well, I guess that is the optimist way of looking at it is, you got to do what you got to do. Just as long as you stay on top of everything, you're all good. I just haven't caught up with all my grades and everything. I have a feeling that my grading and everything is going to be something I'll be doing on weekends. And my week is going to be, what am I doing this week? And trying to make sure all my lessons are done. And I'll be catching up on grading on the weekends. So that's my random thoughts. So, and with that, I'm going to head out. So you two wonderful fellows and the wonderful Twitch chat, you all have a wonderful night.
I don't have to.
Challenge accepted.
Just to spite Dirk, the rest of my night's gonna suck. Wait. No, wait, I take it back. Well, have a good night, my friend.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Well, now it's us.
It is.
What you got there, bearded man?
A lot of the Eldraine stuff we talked about was a surprise, just because I don't know if they released anything on Monday, and then Tuesday I was just busy with other things. Wednesday I was just laying around the apartment sick, and Thursday I was back at work again. So it's nice to have a big surprise waiting for me for a preview episode. It's been a while since we had one of those. I am interested to see some of the finer details for Adventure, just to know what happens in certain weird situations. But 99.9% of the time, we already know what we need to know.
Yeah.
Just what we have so far. But yeah, looks neat. Fairy Tale thing is neat. So there's a little more specific references than ones that showed up in like lore one that was more just generic. Hey, look, there's fairies and trolls and goblins and whatnot. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in learning more about the factions in this world.
Yeah, I can't wait for the flavor articles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right then. Well, for me, I'm digging it. Set looks like fun. The flavor is pretty sweet. All top down and delicious. Yeah. As far as non magic things go, there are non-magic things, right? Yeah. I guess I'll just talk about content. Hey, over on youtube.com/themanapool, I'm finishing up with Titan Souls, which I think the last episode will actually go public tomorrow? Yes. And then after that, I'm going to put up a Tavern Brawl video. Yeah.
Ooh.
Because the Tavern Brawl this week is like a little mini solo adventure.
It was cool.
And it was cool. And I did it at the end of the stream last night. I was like, I really don't want to do the entire next chapter of the Dalaran Heist, the last chapter. I know. Let's go do the Brawl real quick. And it was hilarious. It was hilarious.
Yeah. There were a couple of them for me that it just took forever to finally get a foothold and turn the game around. Just forever.
I'm not bragging, but I may or may not have beaten one of them on turn 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't like to brag that I'm awesome, but I'm pretty awesome. Honestly, I didn't think it would work, and then it worked, and I just giggled. Also, do you have a Reno the Relicologist?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't have a Reno, but his attack sound also just made me almost die. When you attack with him, he goes, "Magic!" And for some reason, that caught me wrong. I'd also been streaming for like 4 hours at that point, but still.
Oh, no. I don't have a Reno. Otherwise, I would just be playing Highlander Mage.
Oh, okay. Magic! Oh my god.
Because I have the Elemental, whoever.
Zephyrus?
Zephyrus, yes.
Zephyrus is like the best card in Hearthstone right now, so yeah.
I know. It's awesome.
So once Titan Souls finishes, they've got the Tavern Brawl, the little mini adventure, the reuniting the League of Explorers. It's pretty funny. And after that, I'm going to start putting up videos for Shovel Knight Plague of Shadows DLC, which is where you play as Plague Knight. And Plague Knight is really cool. The last time I played Shovel Knight for content was about 2 years ago, so it's about time that I go back and finish it. And I've done, I think, 2 streams now of Plague of Shadows, and I'm probably halfway done or so. Something like that. It's really good. Plague Knight took a little getting used to because he's nothing like Shovel Knight. But he's pretty great. And after that, I will do the Spectre Knight DLC, which is a prequel. And I think sometime this year, maybe, the final DLC is supposed to come out, the King Knight DLC. So, awesome. But yeah, so that's what's going up on YouTube in the near future. That's youtube.com/themanapool. Go check it out. Also, that's where you can watch the videos for Monday Night Magic and the Manapool, of course. And yeah, I also stream all that stuff right here on twitch.tv/themanapool. It's where we stream the Manapool and Monday Night Magic and all the games I play, both for and not for content on YouTube. Got to play some Underlords again. They just released a patch while we were recording. There was a new patch that tweaked some of the stuff from the last big patch, so that's cool. For those that care, Tiny can now toss the target buddy. Aw. And for the people that know what that means, they're like, really? And for everyone else, they're like, what did you just say? And that's what I like. Anything else? No, that's good for now. So, if you want to help support what I do, because there's one YouTube video that goes up every day. There's the 2 podcasts a week. There's all the live streams, all that good stuff. I do all the time, every week. And there are many ways to help support me on that. You can subscribe on Twitch, especially in September, because it's half price. So that's awesome. because it's September. Oh, yeah. And you can... What's the other thing? Oh, the Humble... If you shop for PC games or Switch games on humblebundle.com, or you take the... Like, you check out the Humble Bundle bundles, then you can use our affiliate link or partner link, whatever it's called. They all have different names for things, but you can use our partner link to buy your stuff. It doesn't add any cost to you, but it does directly benefit the show. So thank you so much. And the most direct way, of course, is to go to patreon.com/themanapool and become a lifeguard. And the lifeguards get a variety of perks. Like, you can get Manapool episodes and YouTube videos early. You can get what's the thing? The Odds and Ends, which is behind the scenes nonsense recorded before and after both Monday Night Magic and the Manapool that's uncensored and unfiltered. Or you can get the sponsorship shout out on both podcasts and on the end screen for all of the YouTube videos. So I'd like to thank our mythic lifeguards. Jason Doan, Kim Ho, Andrew Hunt, Al, Lance Delicious, Team You Hellas Are You, Connor Kennedy, John Morris, Alex Gonzalez, Scuzzo, Jeff Spencer, Stuart Slaw, PJ McMullen, Sophia Bertain, Casey, Fayen Says, Danny Liao, Cody Buckowing, Jake Jansons, Jason Kaus, Gothic Man, Brian DeLucci, Stark Maximum, John Parker, Violet Moon, Dan Holm, Bartle, Sarah Jane, The Beast Father, Aaron Goodwine, and some guy named Michael. I need to ask him what I should call him on the end screen and on the sponsorship shoutouts. What do you think I should call him, Mike?
I don't know. I haven't really had time to think about it.
And there, just to clarify something I said earlier, there's not a Switch bundle on Humble right now, but they do sell Switch games. That just came up in the chat. Stark said I should call him Jeffrey. Jeffrey. Jeffrey, oh, put the man down. Look what you've done to the Jeffrey. Come here, Jeffrey, sit down. Sorry, that's just what pops into my head when you say Jeffrey. Anyway. So yes, thank you to all of our lifeguards, no matter what tier you're at. I quite literally couldn't do this without you. You allow me to pay the bills and keep the lights on while I continue to just make all of the insane amounts of content. Yay!
Yay!
So, with that, we will be done with the Manapool number 566. Thank you all so very much for joining us, and go play some Magic.